Traveling is something complicated. I will not say it's easy and I will not romanticize the idea of traveling. In fact, I get super stressed and super annoyed every time I have to plan to travel and to actually plan my expenses and my stay and different things. So I came up with a solution, and this is what I'm going to talk to you about today. Another video that is going to blow your mind. Circolo. That's the name that I gave to my company years after I was traveling the world, discovering places, connecting with people under a project called Together Podemos. Together Podemos, an amazing project that I really love with all my heart, took me to over 64 countries in 1 year, selling bracelets in $2. After that happened, I wrote my first book that you already know, and in that book I explain all the ideas about the travel, all the ideas about what I've learned during this process. However, one thing that I was missing is the possibility to make sure that community that were there were receiving something useful besides watching somebody traveling around the world, just explaining them how amazing the world was. And I think that early enough I understood that community right now is looking more than for travelers, for people who actually add value to their lives, and that value could be in the form of many things. And I definitely didn't want it to be just a content creator or only somebody who was traveling the world creating something. Yeah, there is some value in giving people the, let's say, experience of traveling without traveling, but why not to empower people? Why not to actually give people the tools to start traveling and discovering the world? This stayed there in my mind, and I started kind of like attracting things that were happening to me. Along the way, I started my trip in Africa. When I started traveling in Africa, I was kidnapped because I met somebody in an unsafe way. And then after being kidnapped, I ended up living during COVID 6 months in Uganda because of the pandemic. And while I was there, I wrote this other book. And I know I'm just promoting my books, but this whole thing makes sense because after these two things that I wrote, I still had the same feeling. There's no problem with the people who create content and who actually create knowledge and like tell their stories and the way how they actually make a life, but something was growing on the side, and it's the Nomads movement. People who were leaving their jobs, starting to travel and starting to discover the world. These people who wanted to discover the world and who had hunger to create new things, to see new places, to go above and beyond, these people needed a solution. Why? Because every time we travel, every time we try to interact, every time we try to go somewhere, we are exposed to a lot of things. For example, in Istanbul, it happened to me like 5 or 6 times that I booked an apartment on Airbnb, and when I was going to the apartment, the apartment was not what I expected. I remember this funny story of an apartment that I booked, and it was the whole apartment. I paid a lot of money for that place. Once I arrived to the apartment, there was a guy living there, and I asked him, hey, but you say that I can use the whole house, and it's like the meme of the cat. This guy was like the cat saying like, yeah, but you can use the whole house, but I'm living here and I'm not going. And I'm like, what the heck, like I can't be in a place like this. Then that day I had to call Airbnb. Luckily Airbnb actually helped me to solve that whole problem, but then I was thinking I shouldn't have to make this call. Again, happened to me recently that we booked a place, and the day of moving, the day or the time of checking out from the other place, we were actually heading to that direction. And when we were going to the direction, the girl called us and say, hey, you know what, that apartment is not available, and what I have available is another house, but that house is double the price. And we were like kind of freaking out, and freaking out not because of the price, freaking out because of this is not supposed to happen. When somebody creates expectations, or when somebody gives you a promise of a product, that product should be there. And this is not the only problem that as a traveler you face. Besides these problems, what you face are problems related to productivity or to connections. They are amazing tools to meet people, but not all the times the people you meet actually add value to your lives. Everybody has a situation, a problem, of course, a tribe, and not everybody needs to be your tribe. That romanticization that because of you are meeting people from different cultures, you should like meet all kinds of people is not something that you should actually expect. As a digital nomad, as an entrepreneur, you are primarily somebody who is seeking for value, hungry for discovering, hungry for creating new connections that actually help you go further and beyond. And as a generation who is actually facing for the first time the real risk of losing the world, we should actually care about the type of connections that we make, because that will help us to grow our mindset. Besides this problem, there is the problem of the time. How we manage our time if you are traveling so much, if you are going so many places, if you are actually discovering so many things. And this problem comes down to the whole point of missing out some strategies to being able to organize small tasks And when you have to organize a folder because your drive is a mess, or when you have to organize your email because you enter to your inbox and there are like 2,000 emails from Google notifications or from notifications from everybody, or all the newsletters that you didn't subscribe to. To actually edit a video or editing a picture or researching about a topic before a meeting. Those things are things that we actually need, but we don't know where to find it. What I basically did was creating a membership program. I said, okay, the same problems I have are essentially problems that most of nomad travelers face, but everybody puts a different importance to all these problems. There are people who actually enjoy making a plan and wasting time on Airbnb, just searching for a place, and they don't call it a waste of time. They think that it's exciting. There are people who enjoy actually planning an adventure, like going to a place, or people who enjoy who enjoy organizing their folders, people who enjoy doing other things, but according to data, most people actually want to focus in doing two things: fulfilling deadlines and enjoying along the process the places that they are discovering. And if that's that, and we know that 25% of the time that we travel, we spend it in bookings, we spend it in organizing small tasks, and we spend it in trying to meet people, well, we need a solution there. So for the 37 million of nomad travelers who are representing $787 billion in money contribution to the ecosystem or to the industry, there should be a solution that is tailor-made. So we came out with a membership. It starts with $2 a month, where you have access to a chat. Basically, this chat gives you recommendation about places to go in general. So this is general recommendation. It's basically collected via AI in real time about events or things that are happening and going on in places. This is the first stage. If you want to only receive information, you can receive information. But if what you want is to receive information and actually have access or discounts in events and things that are happening and going on in the city, well, you have a $15 membership a month that can actually give you access to that. And if you want more and you want to have a concierge, you can actually have a concierge with discount under this membership. But if what you want is the concierge for free, or that nomad keeper for free, you pay a membership that is $100 a month, and you have the chat, you have the nomad keeper, that is somebody who will help you to organize your tasks and all the things that you normally don't like doing. And as well, you have access to events, some of them for free, some of them with a smaller percentage. And on top of that, you have access to discounts in places to stay around the world. But if what you want is more, we have all the two types of memberships that are called token, in which you can actually put your monthly contribution of $1,500 or $2,500, and with that contribution, what you do is to have access to place to stay in different parts of the world. So let's say that instead of paying every time an Airbnb or every time a price that is changing on other platforms, like that is sometimes going higher or going lower or fluctuating, or like now this thing of splitting the stays in two places at the same time. If you have a place where you can actually just pay one rent, and with that rent you just don't complicate yourself, because you know that you always have the same quality, that you always have the same characteristics, that you always have the same place to stay in different parts of the world with your standards, well, that's a solution. So we offer this with also access to limited free events and to some unlimited discounts in another events, plus the concierge, plus the chat, plus a community, which is super cool. Let's say a mix and match community where you can actually match with people according to your profiles, and kind of meeting or have hangouts of people that are like personally chosen to actually match your interests according to the interest in the city. If you say I want to do business, we could match you with people who are also looking to do business in your industry or in industries that you are interested in. If what you want is to connect with people as friends, or if you want is like maybe to meet somebody interesting, to having an amazing night, you can also do it. But this happens under a curated community that actually gives you access to all of this. And the 2,500 is similar, it's just with improved characteristics in the places to stay. Of course, in the 1,500 we are not going to put you in a room with 10 people. We are going to put you in a nice place, but in 2,500 we're going to put you in a much nicer place, and also to VVIP dinners and to VVIP parties with other CEOs or people in your tier or in your level. Now, this solution is not only for the digital nomads that we know, this solution is also for organizations and for companies like United Nations or like the Red Cross or like NGOs that are big, or companies that have top executives traveling across the world who actually face the same problem, and is the soft landing. Some companies need to wait 6 to 9 months in being able to allocate their people, and while that happens, or meanwhile they have to pay for monthly apartments, because there is no possibility of hiding an apartment for a whole year. And if they do it, they will have to pay a lot of money because they are no residents. With this, a company only signs one contract, and with that contract they have access to places around the world, and they just have a lot of paperwork saved, a lot of time saved, a lot of money saved. What Circolo essentially is the possibility of connecting people and saving you 25% of your time, and as well saving you some money according to the expenses that you have, and making sure that at the same time you have an amazing experience, more time to enjoy the place, more time to work and make more money, and more time to connect with people. Circolo is that platform that connects seekers, discoverers, curious people who are building and believing in the capacity of creating a better world. Circolo is that place that connects people, and ultimately what I say is that Circolo is your superpower, because for us you are our superhero. So if you want to know more about the company and about what we can do for you, you can actually just enter to circolo.life, like that, circolo.life. Discover our different services, discover the memberships, the Nomad Keeper, the different things that we offer across the platform, and all the things that we can do for you right now, starting from $2 a month, or going to a tier that actually gives you shares in the company whenever you travel and you discover the world. See you in the next video, and don't forget to comment, like, share, and also subscribe to this channel and activate the notifications so you don't miss out any of our content. Bye.